bass guitar string replacement. All right, so bass guitar string replacement. Today, I'm gonna start a little test. I get a lot of questions on how often I should change strings, or, you know, how long does a set of strings last, and all this and that. You know, just basically how long do these strings last? And there's a lot of variables that go into play there, depending on the string quality, and basically on how much you play these strings and how badly you abuse these over the time period, or how much you use them. I'm gonna start today and I'm gonna play these. I'm gonna keep a log of how often I play them and the strings that I put on here, which is gonna be my 5 string. I'm gonna get the DR Blues. If you haven't seen the video, I did a video on those strings, did a little quality test on those strings, and I love the strings, so they're great. And I've got the 4 string. Since I've got the Ernie Ball Music Man, he can go ahead and use his strings. The Super Slinkies, I run these on this bass anyway, but these, I had the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. Get the light off of there, sorry about that. The Ernie Ball Super Slinky strings, and the gauge 45 to 100 standard. The also 45 to 125. So those are the string gauges, which don't get too caught up in the string gauges. You know, let's just get the idea of about how long you can look at these bad boys lasting for you. And we're even going to throw in trying to break the myth of boiling your strings. Is that even a thing or not? So that's what we're going to get into. So if you're new here, I'm Donald with the Bass Instructor, the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Jump over there, subscribe, get your free ebook on setting your bass up, everything you need to know on setting your bass up. And this is I Want to Play Bass, your YouTube channel. Subscribe here, hit that bell notification, get in a loop, and don't miss a beat. So I'm going to give you the sound of how these sound at right now, and then I'm going to replace the strings, and I'm going to do a demo of how they sound then. I won't change anything. I'll keep all the settings the same on everything. We'll actually cut it, you know, we'll set this bad boy right in the middle. We won't cut anything or, you know, roll anything off. We'll keep them right in the middle settings. Amp, I won't adjust that at all. So you can get a true feel of how these sound, okay? So here is these are the old strings. Going to give you an idea how the older strings sound, which these aren't really, I really at this point don't need to change these strings because they're not that old, but I'll just give you an idea of how they sound, and then when I get the new strings on, you'll hear how they sound, and by the end of this test, which could probably be about a month or so that this will last, because I play pretty often. We play out, you know, a couple times a week, sometimes better than others, you know, at least 1 time a week, and sometimes a couple times a week. So depending on, I'll keep a log on how often I play this thing, so we'll get an idea of how many, if it was in that month that it was 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, or what, we'll get that idea. So here we go. We're going to start with something simple here, just to give you an idea. We're going to just run through the string. Just going to run a simple G major scale. Let me turn away from the mic a little bit so we don't hear all the fret noise and everything. We just get as much of the amp, what the signal coming through there as possible. Okay, so hear that. I'm going to play my 5 string now. These are definitely older strings on the 5 string that you'll definitely notice a difference in once I put the new strings on. Everything's right in the middle. Nothing's rolled off. Everything's good. Okay, so here's the same G major scale. Okay, and I'll be back. I'm going to change these strings, and I'm going to give you a demo of how that sounds, okay? So hold tight. All right, so new strings, all changed, stretched them, tugged on them, tuned them. Probably might have to tune them again here in a second. And This is the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. So you can jump over to iwannaplaybass.com, Bassist Gear Corner, and get your set if you like the sound of them. I like them. I enjoy them. So they're good strings. So we're going to check those out and see how long these things last. Today is September 29th. The idea of boiling strings, whether it makes a difference, which I already know that the outcome of that. I've done it in the past. So that's what we're going to talk about as well. But I'm going to boil the strings. The strings I took off of here were not that old. I just wanted to do this test on even grounds, common grounds. So these are brand new strings. The other ones weren't that old, so I won't boil those. The ones on the Fenders, the 5-string, I will boil those because those were definitely in need of changing. So we'll check that out as well. But the idea of boiling the strings and giving it the strings a little longer life it's not a myth. We'll do the test and we'll see the difference. You'll just have to listen to what it sounded like just a little bit ago, that video of the old strings compared to the new strings, compared to the boiled strings. It'll still be those same strings that I was playing a minute ago, but they'll be boiled. And the idea is once you get it boiling, the rotor sounds, if you're playing flat wounds, you're not going to get any longevity out of it. The round wound strings have the little groove in between each string that grit, dirt, greasy fingers, dirty fingers get caught up in there, and it kind of they mute that string a little bit. They deaden that string. But what the idea of boiling it is, once you put it in the boiling water and the bubbles and everything, it starts kicking out that grit, those granules and stuff like that out of the strings. How effective it is, it's hard to say. I've never pulled it out and seen like sediment down the bottom of that pot at all. So we'll see. But there does seem like there is a difference in the sound of the string, and you'll see that firsthand once we get done, once that video comes out as well, okay? So here we are. I'll run through that G major scale again, try to back away from my mic so I don't hear a bunch of this fret noise. I can just hear what's coming through the amp, and it'll be more effective that way. So here is the G major scale. Here's the same scale, same way I played it last time on new strings. And this is the Ernie Ball Super Slinky bass strings, 45 to 100. I already hear a difference, a solid. And like I said, those strings that I just took off of there were not maybe a month old, which sometimes, like I said, I've been playing it a good bit. So, I've been swapping off playing this bass and that bass, a little bit at a time. So these strings, I'm not sure how many hours I got on them, but there's a significant difference right there. And those were Ernie Ball Super Slinkies. I think I had on there before. They might not have been the Super Slinkies, they were the Slinkies though. I'm pretty sure they were. But I already hear a difference. Hopefully it's not getting a lot of this noise into the mic, which I'm real close. I'm afraid it might be, but let's hope not. If not, we can get the idea for sure. So that is the Ernie Ball Super Slinkies, brand new. Today's September 29th, and we will follow this up soon. Now here comes the Fender, the 5-string Fender. All right, so here is the 5-string, and with the brand new string, September 29th, same date. We just recorded it. I just stopped recording just to change the strings for a minute. If you need to see more information on changing your strings, I'll leave a video up here on how to do that. I did a video a while ago and just went through the whole kit and caboodle of changing your strings. So I wasn't going to dig into that and waste time on that. I'd like to get more down deep with the strings. Here are the DR Pure Blues strings. They're nickel wound. That's why I like them so much. I was tuned down to half. So let me make sure she's still in tune. new strings go out quick. Sounds good. So here we go, the same scale that I've been playing, just on the 5-string, new strings, the DR Pure Blues nickel wound strings. Sounds pretty good. I definitely, like I said, I noticed the difference between the month-old strings, and I definitely noticed the difference between these are like probably 2 months old. And as talking about the boiling strings, you know, you can get a little more life out of your strings. I know these bad boys aren't cheap. There's definitely, you know, if you're not getting paid to play out and making a little bit of money by playing, then it's another cost to just your hobby. But you know, so boiling them is not a bad idea, but you're not going to get a big drastic difference. But we're going to see how that is. Like I said, we'll break that down and see how it is. But yeah, they're not that cheap. You can play these things till they're deader than a doornail, you know. So you know, you do what you got to do. You know, you're still playing, and unless you're playing out and you got gigs, then that money will bring you in. That money you get from the gigs, you can go and definitely purchase some new strings as needed, because you know, there is some expense to playing out, and new strings are it. You don't want to be playing out with dead strings. You want to have good strings. But if you're just playing at home at the house, then just practicing stuff like that, then using dead strings is not going to be detrimental to your practicing at all. It's not going to affect your practicing at all. It's just going to affect the sound of it. You might get a little aggravated by, you know, your sound not sounding as good as whoever you're trying to emulate, but that's because of the strings. So, you know, like I said, boil them, get a little life out of them, bring them back a little bit, but we'll see, okay? So there you have it. That is going to be bass guitar string replacement. And like I said, definitely subscribe here, hit that bell, because you want to get in the loop. I'll have other videos coming out soon about, you know, just seeing the difference. We're going to play the same scale on the bass, see how the difference is, and just see how they're wearing out, and we'll see which strings are better actually. You know, they're different made strings, they're different brand strings. Maybe we'll get to hear the difference in what you think. So, I mean, just from those two brand new strings, just from playing there, what do you think about those? Which ones sound better to you? Because the basses, they're set up. I mean, this is a jazz pickups here, and that's your famous humbucker soap bar pickup there. So, you know, that's going to be a little, you can't compare apples with oranges. Maybe not that big of a difference though. Maybe not apples and oranges, but you know, they're still basses. So, but their pickups are a little different, so there is going to be a little difference there. But we will see how, definitely how they wear as we play them, okay? And I'll keep a log of all that. And the next video that comes out on bass guitar string replacement will be like, I'll come out with, this has been playing 3 hours of playing on these strings, or 8 hours, or however long, okay? So definitely hope you got some value out of that. If you did, you will at the end of this video when the test is complete. And hit that like button, help me help you, and I will catch y'all on the flip-flop in the next video. Bye for now.